For a lot of reasons, these days we're talking a lot about gender, about sexual assault, about sexism, and about gender roles. In the midst of this national conversation, the White Ribbon Campaign held their third conference called What Makes a Man. This was a conference to discuss masculinity and new possibilities for manhood. The keynote speaker for this conference is actor, author, and former NFL player Terry Crews, who's best known for his work in film, television, and a series of commercials for the brand Old Spice.
This new Old Spice shaver is so amazing it'll shave off every hair on your face! Oh no! I'm a hair! Oh no!
Earlier this year, Crews wrote a book called Manhood, How to Be a Better Man or Live with One. I spoke with him about feminism, masculinity, and what makes a man in 2014.
I'm optimistic about the state of manhood. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I know that the media and there's a lot of bad things going around, like, oh, this guy. But I think now, you're talking about, it's a fork in the road. It gives guys a chance to say, wait a minute.
Right.
Let's redirect, okay? Because this ain't good. And I think I'm very, very optimistic because now, when you're talking about young men coming up and seeing this, and wondering what's going on and looking at, the results, they can make a choice. Whereas before, it was only one way to be.
Right.
People were like, to be a man, you must do this, and you must hide all your feelings. And that was pretty much the way it was. And now we have men talking about this stuff. It's good.
So you've written this book, Manhood. What inspired you to write it?
I would go places with my wife, and people would go, he's so amazing, Terry Crews, oh, yeah. And then they look at my wife and say, you must just love living with him. And she would go, and there'd be that little hesitator, like,
right.
And I was like, okay, I got to bust this bubble.
Right.
This bubble is getting too big because you're on TV, you're doing movies, you do all this stuff, and you got to just go, all right, because I know what really went down.
Right.
And I know that it ain't all roses or wine. This was a fight. And I just had to tell the story. And, and it's my story. I don't tell, one big thing I learned is to not tell anybody else's story.
Right.
I can't speak for women. I can't speak for anybody else, any other man other than me and my take on what this is. And hopefully all the stuff I've been through will inspire someone. And there's a few people, some people go, not for me, but there's somebody out there that says, wow, I can relate to this. And it turns out there's a lot of people who've responded very, very well.
Right. Now you've been everywhere, right? Like you've been radio, television, film, and now you're talking about this, bringing a lot of high profile to the stuff that you're talking about, but you're also bringing a high profile to the word feminist. You've used it in a few interviews before. So a lot of people have this like weird relationship to the word feminist. They're like, well, I don't think I can be a feminist. I don't really want to identify with that word, it's too strong. Why do you think it's important for you to be a feminist?
Wow, I think the big thing about feminism is that it scares men because, the big deal is that people are scared of being controlled. People are scared of, someone's over me. And, I want to be clear that feminism is not saying women are better than men. That's not what is going on.
And some people see it as that.
And some people totally see it as that. It's like back in the day, you say civil rights, people were like, oh, so now they're saying, But what it is that we're talking about gender equality.
Right.
True gender equality. That's the deal. But the problem is that men have always felt that they're more valuable. I
right.
have felt.
You've been the guy.
I have been that guy.
Right.
Where I felt I was more valuable than my wife and kids.
Now for you grew up in Flint and in the 70s. So it's not an easy time to grow up in Flint, right? So you came up from the hood, you came up from a very, you were the guy that punched people, and they punched you right back, right? Yeah. So you learned to define success through that, and now you've learned to redefine it. What has that been like for you, and how do you get other men to redefine that?
Well, I made the mistakes. I chased the wins.
Right.
And what happens is, now you got to understand, when you have that mindset, people know how to manipulate that. You are manipulated. I've been in auditions where, they go, oh, excuse me, can you levitate? And you're like, no, I can't, no.
Right.
And then you try. You
Right.
actually sit there and try to levitate. You know what? Brad Pitt levitated when he was here. Could you do that? And you're like, ah. And they go, I'm sorry, no, don't worry about it.
Right.
No, we thought you could levitate. I'm sorry. And you're like, oh, but I'll try. I can go home. Can I come back? Can I go in the hallway and then I come back in? Dude, you're chasing something you can never do.
Yeah.
But it's always the carrot. It's and that's how men have been manipulated for years.
Right.
Chase your wins. Chase your wins. Keep them running. Keep them going. Keep them on. Because when you make it, now I'll accept you. But you know what? They will never accept you.
Right.
You have to know who you are. You have to know that you're already valuable. And when you know that, you can say, no, I'm not doing that.
Right.
And walk away and know. And then everybody respects that.
Right.
But what happens is if you don't know that, I didn't.
You feel less than.
And I'm chasing. I was running.
Right.
My whole time in the NFL, my whole time, even as an artist, I was trying to impress and really make up for who I was. Make myself into somebody that someone cared about.
Right.
And I realized that just because I'm here, I'm okay.
Now, I'm sure you've heard from people that you were with in the NFL, or people that you grew up with, about the conversations you're now trying to have. What has that response been like from them?
It's funny because I get a lot of guys that are like, that's good, man. Yeah, that's cool. And I also get guys that are like, dude, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Right.
I get no, literally, they'll grab me by the meat of your arm and pull you over and go,
sure.
Like, why are you? And I was like, dude, could you unhand me, kind sir? And it's like, what is the big deal?
Right.
But they're like, dude, you're telling.
You're exposing.
You're telling.
Yeah.
Why are you? It's man code, dude.
Right.
Man code. Come on.
Gotta respect it. Yeah.
See, man code.
So how do you respond to that?
Well, see, I'm just saying, man code. Does it work when your daughter gets raped? Man code. Does that work when your mom gets abused?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Of course.
And come on, dude. Come on. I'm living in the real world. And you can drink the Kool-Aid all you want. A lot of guys love the Kool-Aid. Sports world is Kool-Aid world, full of Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
But they don't see anything. You can do anything just because you just win, baby. That's the logo.
You actually get more money when you do
You know
that,
what
right?
I'm saying?
You become more of a star when you do that. Yeah.
And then what happens is they win, and they go, that girl, she's my trophy. I deserve that girl. In fact, she don't even want to be with me, but I don't care. I'm going to take it.
Right.
What kind of mindset is that? Never should that ever be accepted. That's not a code. That's Taliban.
Of course.
That's ISIS. You understand what I mean? On the other side, people are being victimized and abused.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It never works, will not work. And unless men are willing to speak on it, because first of all, I kind of relate it to slavery or even civil rights. Let's not even go back to slavery. Let's go to civil rights, and let's say the people who were silent when there was the lunch counters, where it was the black lunch counter and the white one, where the schools were segregated and they had 2 books, and the black school and the white school had everything, and you were quiet, you were accepting it.
Right.
Same thing with men right now. If you don't say anything, you are, by your silence, it's acceptance. And I'm not going to be silent. I'm not going to be silent. But I know they need a man like me to say something, because then they go, okay, it's okay. Nobody, they didn't pelt him with rocks and garbage. I might get pelted one day.
And he's Terry Crews.
But not now.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they said they didn't. Okay, he's all right. He's living. He's still doing his thing. I guess it's okay. People are trying to see if it's okay to step outside.
Now, we're having a lot of conversations here in Canada because of a high-profile case of sexual assault or I guess allegations of sexual assault. The case that's going on is Jian Ghomeshi, who was a radio host in the States. You know, there's a Bill Cosby situation, which is still allegations, right? We don't know anything yet. There's all this conversation about consent, about understanding when another human being is trying to connect with you and when they're saying no. And a lot of young men don't know how to have the conversation about consent. What would you say to them?
The big thing for me is just that when you see another person as your equal, there's things you won't do. Right. You just won't do. The problem is in how you see them versus you. You would only go ahead after someone says no if you feel you own them or if you feel you're above them. Yeah. You would only rape someone if you felt that she was property.
But such high-profile cases, such high-profile people, and we looked up to them. Those were our role models of masculinity or role models of just how to be. So I don't know. How do you feel about that?
You know, I think that you can go back to Bill Clinton. You know, that's what was an abuse of authority. Mm-hmm. You can go back to several just it's all high profile. Now, this is what I'm concerned about. And everybody wants the high profile, but it's the place where that lady some woman works, and her boss is coming at her every day. Right. Hey, that's not high profile, right. But that's normal.
Right, happens every day.
It's so normal. It's got a name, yeah. And I have to say, regardless of the names, regardless of who is getting mentioned, you're not battling people. Right, we're battling mindsets. Right. We're battling a mindset. And what's happened is people have attacked people. And they go, you, but they have, it's like, you know what it's like? It's like cutting a tree down by the leaves. Because it just grows back. Right. You know, we got rid of those leaves. Yeah. In fact, that bad branch is just...
The whole thing's gone.
That whole branch is...
The tree's still there.
The tree needs to come down.
Right.
And nobody's getting at the stump. And the stump is a mindset.
Right.
That people feel they're more valuable than each other, than another one. And that's what I'm attacking. I don't even have to say a name. You don't have to deal with people. I know what the problem is right off.
Right.
You think you're better than everybody.
Right. Because of this idea of manhood or masculinity or whatever.
Exactly.
Right. Now, you have this great story where you went to see Iron Man with your son.
Yeah.
Can you tell it? I love that story.
Oh, man. I went to go see Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah.
but I couldn't watch the rest of it because I was sitting there and, the trailers and the whole thing, and my son is shaking and moving, and we got our popcorn and we got our candy, and we just sitting there, and it's a good old summer movie, and it's going to be a great time. But the trailers were really like violent and shaking and loud, and and he was just like, whoa, it was about around 6 years old, and he just was like, I said, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Oh, I'm okay." And then the movie started, and I'm enjoying it. I'm like, "This is awesome." And then it's more bombs, people die. He's like, "Ooh," and he's covering his face. Oh, man. One hand in his popcorn, one hand on his face.
Right.
And I'm like, "Are you okay?" He's like, I'm okay. And he's gritting his teeth. I said, "Hold on, okay, so we got a problem."
Yeah.
I pull him outside. We come outside. The light out there, it's a bright sunny day. I'm like,
quiet.
Oh, quiet. He's just looking down. And I said, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm okay." I said, Are you scared? Are you scared? I wanted to make sure I said that right. It was like, "You scared?"
Of course.
I was, "Are you scared?" He said, "Yeah." And he held his head down, just put his head down like, "I failed you."
Right. He felt ashamed.
I failed you. He felt shame.
Yeah.
Because he was scared. I said, No. Yeah. No. I said, "Brother, we don't have to see this movie." I said, "You know what? In fact, let's go swimming." I said, "You're just not ready for this movie yet. Right. It's okay. One day you're gonna look at it and it's just gonna be just a movie. But it's okay, man. Right. It's okay to be scared. It's all right." I said, "You want to go swimming? You want to go?" He's like, "Oh, yeah." Right. He just, let me tell you, he was like, "Woo!" He ran. We went home. He got in the pool.
Yeah.
We had a blast. It was a wonderful day.
Yeah.
But it just reminded me that's every man on earth.
Yeah.
When you're scared, you won't say it.
What did you learn about being a dad from that moment?
Well, I learned just to listen, but I also learned that's me.
Right.
He was suffering from the same thing I suffered from.
Right.
Where I'm a man and I gotta look like a man.
Yeah.
And I can't admit that I'm afraid. I can't say that I'm weak. I can't say that I'm tired. I'm not allowed to say I'm sleepy or I'm hurt.
Sure.
Or I can't handle this. That's what I learned. And I said, you know what, I gotta speak out. And when I cracked that egg for my son, he was free.
Right.
And I had to learn to keep cracking that egg for myself every time. You know what, admit it. Admit you don't have it. I promised myself I would never say, I got this, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I will never say that. Because that's the moment you are ready to fall.
Right.
You always have to keep a moment where that pride is out of here.
Now, you took a little bit of heat when you were on The View, and you talked about the importance of fatherhood.
There are things that you need from your father. Your father starts out, he gives you your name. He gives you, listen.
Like in Lion King?
Like in Lion King? Have you ever watched Lion
What
King?
is it like, talking about fatherhood, and what was that moment like for you?
Yeah, it was wild, man. I did not expect that.
Yeah, you got
I'll be
a
honest
little,
with
you got a hard response.
But that's the anger against men right now, because men have not been doing. Listen, people thought I was being hard on women.
Right.
I was calling men to come up and step up,
Yeah.
and say, dude, your kids need you. That's what I was saying. And another thing I was saying, and I always feel like, everyone is necessary. Everyone on earth is necessary. I had a couple people hit me up on Twitter saying men are unnecessary.
Right.
I don't need no man. But I'm like, I'm not saying we don't need moms. I'm not saying you don't need women.
It's not about that. It's not about that. Right?
Why did it turn to that? I was like, if you have to say that someone else is unnecessary to prove your point, I'm like, well, then what does this mean? What are you trying to say? And my thing was, I'm telling you that everyone is necessary. Everyone. You need people. You need them. And I'm like, why do you have to diss a dad in order to be a good mom? That doesn't. You can be a great mom and you can be a great dad. There's no either or.
Right.
And I'm just saying that you need men. I think you need men.
Role
if
models.
every man was gone off the face of the earth, we'd have a problem.
Right.
Okay, that's all I gotta say.
Right.
But some people feel like you don't need a man at all.
Right.
And I don't think men, you need. It's so crazy where people are getting caught up in certain, names and this and that and roles. I'm not talking about roles. I'm talking about purposes. Roles, people are scared of that because that means, when they hear fatherhood, that means, oh, are you saying all women belong in the kitchen? No one is saying that. In fact, I'm in the kitchen.
Right.
When my wife is out working on her record, she flew to Nashville to do her thing, I'm in the kitchen with the kids, cooking, making grilled cheeses and getting them ready for school and doing the whole thing. Gender purposes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm here now. She's protecting my kids.
Right.
Okay? She's the strong one at home who's letting people know, get back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's okay. And when I get home, I'm that guy.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah,
It's okay.
sure.
But it's the purposes, not roles. Purposes.
I see.
And I'm good.
If you had something to say to, like there's a college kid right now who's listening to you, thinking about that's, I want to be the aggressive kind of man who just gets women and uses them all the time. And you got a chance to look into that camera right there and, and be like, hey man, I got something to say to you. What would that be?
Wow. To every young man out there who is looking to conquest women and in hopes that it'll make you a man, the issue is every man wants intimacy. Intimacy, all intimacy is you want to be known. You want to be known and loved. That's what you want. You don't want sex. Sex comes later. Problem is, people are chasing sex to chase intimacy, and you'll never find satisfaction in it. I can prove that. Okay? That is a bona fide fact that sex is not intimacy. Okay? And I'm just here to say, when you find it, when you find intimacy, when you find someone who loves you for you, you will be satisfied. That's what it's all about. And, you know, I can tell you that many men growing up in the hood with pimp culture that feel that sex is the way to manhood simply because they literally have no fathers to teach them, because they don't see a loving relationship. They don't see a man loves a woman, and the relationship that they have. They learn that, hey, dad left, and now I guess how do I be a man? I guess it's having more sex.
I do that, yeah.
And it's really, really a cycle. Mm-hmm. Ask yourself the hard questions. Figure out what makes you tick. And these are hard questions.
Yeah. Thanks very much, man.
Hey,
Appreciate it.
You got it, my man.
Thanks,
you got
man.
it. You got it.